Hi guys, Hamza here and welcome to this other video. It has taken me like 2 weeks since I made another video because I was trying also to do a little bit of other things to pump up my personal blog and put up some updates there. So I'm now right back, so I hope you guys we can have some time now, have fun. So in this video actually I'm going to take you through step by step on how you can configure one of the top rated security plugins in the WordPress ecosystem. A few weeks ago, this plugin helped me detect malware that was actually installed in one of my clients' websites. I could be in position to scan the malware and find where the files were, fix them, delete them, and get the website going. So now the beauty is that I'm going to take you through step by step so that you can do this for yourself and also secure your website, because this plugin enables you to block specific IPs, block specific users who are trying to hit in specific usernames. This plugin helps you to monitor the performance of your website, whether it's up, whether it's down, whether it's receiving so many attacks from different locations and IP addresses. So let's dive straight in. So welcome back guys to this tutorial, and we are just now going to get started. So we simply just have to log into our WordPress website and head down to plugins, add new plugin. Once you are here, then just search for Wordfence. Pops up here, has 3+ million active installations. So we install. And boom, activate. So once we have now our Wordfence activated, it will require us to feed in here an email address where we can receive notifications about what is happening on our website. These notifications will be something like the recent updates that are happening on your website, the recent attacks, or if someone is logging in or something. So this should be actually your real email that you have access to. So I will just add this admin at make websites for money.com, and then I can choose whether I want to receive Wordfence as a team, including notifications and Wordfence news. So I would say yes or no. So I just have to say yes because I want to keep updated, and then I have to agree actually to the terms and conditions of Wordfence. So in case you bought a premium version of this plugin, then this is where you have to enter your purchase key. So I don't have that. Now we are here. So what we need to do is we now have to come back to our WordPress menu, go down below there and look up for Wordfence. When you click up on Wordfence, then you come over to this dashboard, and here it will just bring you a tour window that we don't need at the moment. So I'll just close this up and we get started. Once we are here, then we also get these other notifications up here from Wordfence, like to make your sites as secure as possible. Take a moment to optimize the Wordfence web application firewall. Yes, we will do this. For now, dismiss the notification. And then here they said, do you want Wordfence to stay up to date automatically? I'll say yes. This means that actually the plugin will automatically update whenever there is something pushed out. So at the moment, actually Wordfence is in something they call a learning mode. A learning mode is basically Wordfence trying to study how your website functions, like the kind of traffic it receives, the users, and all that data. But before we dive straight in here, I'll just take you on the Wordfence menu and we see what it gives us. For example, we have the dashboard, we have the firewall, we have the scanner, we have the tools, the login security, and all other options, including the help. So now let's first head back now to our dashboard and we just study what is happening here. So like I told you, it's now in learning mode, which is a firewall, and here is a scanner. The scanner is the option that actually Wordfence gives you to run through your website and detect security issues that are there. So it is something that I really love about also Wordfence. And then here there is a premium option that if you have the premium version of Wordfence, then you have you'll actually get premium protection from this guide, but maybe that is for another time. So here actually Wordfence gives you notifications of something that needs actually your attention, and by clicking over here then you can get straight to such notifications and see what is actually Wordfence suggesting. Wordfence also gives you an option to manage different websites. I mean like multi-site, using a central Wordfence dashboard. So this is something that you could check out if you are having a couple of websites that you want to use to manage with Wordfence. And then we have also the other tools that monitor live traffic, the WhoIsLookUp, import and export, and then the diagnosis. These are things we are going to look through. For example, the live traffic shows you how the traffic is coming through to your website. WhoIsLookUp actually enables you to detect which IPs and which users and from where they are coming from that are actually having access to your website. And the import and export, this enables you to import and export settings of Wordfence into other websites that you're running and have Wordfence installed, and a lot more. So we have also the other option called the help, where you can actually go through the amazing documentation from Wordfence, and also the global options where you can manage Wordfence, including things to do with alerts, premium status, and a lot more. Actually here you also have an amazing dashboard from Wordfence, which I think is interesting because in the last 24 hours Wordfence has blocked up to 6 million attacks. Oh my god. And this was last updated 40 minutes ago. So you just see how much work Wordfence is actually doing. So now let's head straight into our firewall and we get started and we see what actually Wordfence brings us under the firewall settings. We'll just close over this tour and now we are here. So still at the moment Wordfence is still under learning mode, and then there is something called the firewall rules and community, then the real-time IP blacklist. Using Wordfence we can actually block IPs that we think that are probably making malicious attacks on our website, and also the brute force protection. This is already now enabled. Like, before I actually go any further down here, let me just try to explain these options right here in just a couple of minutes. So to start with, the web application firewall is that firewall is kind of like we can assume that your security man at the gate, making sure that no one actually enters into your website before you actually authorize them to do so. So this security man is there basically watching over whatever. Actually the best word to use is a watchman. So this person is there basically to watch over the activities that are happening before actually they get access to your website. So that is how briefly I can explain to you the firewall, and at the moment it is still in learning mode. But when I flip over to this other website that has been running for a couple of months already, Wordfence has collected enough data for this website that has been having Wordfence installed over the last couple of months, so it can now give us as many options as possible. So when I take you just down here, they say the basic firewall options: enabled and protecting. In this mode, the Wordfence web application firewall is actively blocking requests matching known attack patterns and is actively protecting your website from attackers. So here we can choose the option of enabled and protecting. We can choose the option of learning mode or disabled. So the best option is actually to enable and protect your website. And then protection level here, they say this is a basic WordPress protection. The plugin will load as a regular plugin after WordPress has been loaded, and while it can block many malicious requests, some vulnerable plugins or WordPress itself may run vulnerable code before all plugins are loaded. So here we can optimize the Wordfence firewall, and here we have the real-time IP blacklist. Just like I told you that we can block and blacklist IPs real-time using this plugin, but that is actually a premium feature. So when we go under the advanced firewall options, unless you know what you are doing, I would suggest that you leave everything under this section on default, Wordfence will protect your website using its default setting. However, if you want to do some advanced setups, then you can go under here and then you can enable, for example, and then you can deny some IPs and country blocking to access your website. And down here you can actually add IPs that are whitelisted to access your website. And here they say whitelisted IPs must be separated by commas or placed in separate lines. You can specify ranges using the following formats. So you can say between these IPs and these IPs, they should access my website. So that is kind of whitelisting. And then here there is an option actually to whitelist services of these other plugin providers or these other platforms. For example, Sukari, which is also another amazing security WordPress plugin, Wordfence, Uptime Robot, Status Check, and WPMan. So down here are rules, and these are basically rules that Wordfence bases on to protect your website, like file_upload, malicious file upload, then LFI, directory traversal, LFI local file inclusion, and then a lot more other like rules that actually Wordfence implements. Like you're in position to disable them or actually enable them. So I prefer that you actually leave it as default, because SQL injections actually attacks that hackers use to access websites databases using the SQL injection method. So if you disable it and you don't know whatever it does, then that will greatly affect your website security. So when we head down here to brute force protection, this option enables all brute force protection options, including strong password enforcement and invalid login throttling. You can modify individual options below. So here, brute force in simple terms is a way actually attackers use to manipulate your system, your website username and password, try to guess it using automated software. And if by any chance they guess it, they guess the username and the password, then they get access to the website. So here Wordfence is actually giving you the opportunity to limit the access, to limit the success of brute force attacks. For example, like log out after how many login failures. For example, you can say if someone tries as many as 7 times, they should be blocked. So for example, if someone tries out my username and password on the login page after 7 times, then they will be blocked, so they don't have access to the login features. And then log out after how many forgot password attempts. So you can say like any number of times right here, but I always prefer not to go beyond 7. And count failures over what time or period. So you can say we can say if someone fails within 10 minutes to log in, then we can lock them out. And then we can say amount of time a user is locked out. We can say it should take them 12 hours to try again to log out. That's when the system will give them the option actually to log in too. Then here we can say immediately log out individual usernames. So here they say immediately log out invalid usernames. Most of the brute force attack softwares here, they will try for example like admin, they will try like for example your first name, maybe they will try the first word in the website name. Maybe they will try words like administrator. Then they will try as many as possible combinations that are easily used by website administrators. So I always suggest that you use something that is not really common, or something someone will not even suspect to be like your username. Advise a combination of if my website is, for example, make money building website, I can say buildings.make. This is pretty not easy to guess. That is, if someone is going to brute force attack to access my username. So you just make some things that are really weird for someone to guess. And then here we can say there is another option: prevent the use of passwords linked in data breaches. Yes, this option is enabled. And here we can specify for only admins, for all users with publish post capability. How do we know which passwords were linked in data breaches? So these are passwords that have already been published out there on the internet, and probably Wordfence has already collected a database of all those passwords and they have them in their system. So here it gives you the capacity for your website to access that database of already linked passwords, and then that if in any way your user is trying to use that password to access your website, then this software will prevent them from using those passwords. On the other hand, there are also additional features like enforce strong passwords, don't let WordPress reveal valid users login errors, and then prevent users registering admin username if it exists. So like people always want also to use admin. So prevent discovery of usernames through whatever that URL. And then you can also block IPs who send post requests with blank user agent and referrer. So this is a little bit advanced. Unless you know what you're doing, then you can also do tweaks here. However, just leave that. And then you can also skip. You can also check password strength or profile updates. You can also participate in real-time Wordfence security network. I mean, this is just enabling the option for your website. Most of these features come by default setup by Wordfence. So I'm just taking you through to see what actually Wordfence has on the table for you. So down here on rate limiting, enable rate limiting and advanced blocking. So by checking this, immediately block fake Google crawlers. So okay, this is something then you can also set up if you don't want any of those crawlers to crawl your website, or the fake crawlers not to crawl your website. So you can block them here by just selecting the option. Here you can say if anyone's requests exceed this so much, requests per minute, then you can throttle it, you can block it. If a crawler's page not found 404s exceed, then you can limit them per minute, or you can just throttle them or block them. So and then here you can say how long is an IP address blocked when it breaks a rule. So you can limit that IP address for a certain amount of hours or days or even a month. So, and then whitelist 404 URLs. These URL patterns will be excluded from the throttling rules used to limit crawlers. So you list them here, all those whitelisted 404 URLs. So when we go under now the whitelisted URLs, add whitelisted URL, or the URL or parameters in this table will not be tested by the firewall. They are typically added while the firewall is in learning mode, or by the admin who identifies a particular action or requested. So these URLs, they are within your website, and so they will not be blocked by the firewall. So if you add them right here, you can add just the parameters or just the URL, and then you have them whitelisted so that Wordfence doesn't block them straight there. Once you have that configured perfectly well, I can just save. So remember, we are now on our other website, not the one where we installed Wordfence, because this was basically still fetching in some data. So now what we need to do is to go back on the main firewall section, and we come over to blocking. For the IP blocking is actually for premium users, but basically you get the idea of whatever I'm trying to take you through here. So when now we go back to our website where we install our plugin, now we need to go to the dashboard, and we have already covered the dashboard, and our Wordfence was already in learning mode trying to understand our website, and we came to firewall, and we tried to we went through the whole firewall section, and we also went to the blocking section where we wanted actually to test out the IP address, you know, and then we realized that actually it's for premium users. So we have the firewall section set. Now let's go to the scan section. So the scan section is actually an amazing option that is inbuilt with Wordfence. And where I say this is that a couple of weeks ago, one of my clients' website got malicious software installed in their server, and I started getting notifications like, this is an automated alert to inform you that we have detected a malicious attempt to access your account via that HTTP for that hosting URL. And then our security team have blocked the upload of the malicious file to the server, but put it into the quarantine. Your website is safe now, but it is important to undertake so they suggest options. However, they say that they had blocked that, but whenever you could try to access the website, it could bring you a 503 error, or you can't access the website. Basically nothing loads up. So when I came here to the Wordfence scan option, and I basically just made a new scan of the whole website, because it gives you the option to scan, you know, a website. For example, if you go to the manage the scan options, and we can select how we want to scan our website. So the limited scan for entry-level hosting plans provides limited detection capability with low resource utilization. The standard, our recommended for all websites, provides the best detection capability in the industry, high sensitivity and all that stuff. However, I'll just leave everything on default. But just to take you through, here it will be able to scan for misconfigured, how to Wordfence get IPs, scan for publicly accessible configurations, backup and log files, scan for publicly accessible quarantine files, scan for files against repository versions for changes, scan for theme files against repository versions for changes, scan for plugin files against repository versions for changes, scan for WP-admin and WP-includes for files not bundled with WordPress, scan for signatures for unknown malicious files, scan file contents for backdoors, trojans, and suspicious code. I think this is where you guys now love. And then also there's one option that says scan for file contents for malicious URLs. Here it also says scan post for unknown dangerous URLs and suspicious content. Another option is scan for comments for unknown dangerous URLs and suspicious content. So, and a lot more others. So that's one of the beauties of Wordfence. When we head back straight to our scan option, where we can simply just hit the button start new scan, Wordfence is going to basically to scan through the server state, the file changes, the malware, the content theft, the public files, password string, vulnerability scan, user and option audit. So, and whatever issue it's going to find here, it will either bring you a tick here, or it will basically bring you a notification that, hey, something is wrong here, you need to do something. So all the other website that actually had a malicious software installed, it was here bringing a red icon that is showing that, hey, there is an error here, and down here it was listing the file. Just like it's going to show for files that are not updated right here. For example, this is good. So vulnerability scan. So here it's bringing an exclamation mark with a triangle showing, hey, man, you should check out this file. So here down it lists the files that that need your attention, and here it is actually saying the plugin Groovy menu needs an upgrade to this issue found on this date. It is medium, so it's not so serious. And then here it says theme Astra needs an upgrade from that version to this other version, found issue on this day, so it's medium. So here you have the capacity to see the details and say the plugin, then whatever the details, the new plugin version, the details, you need to upgrade that and that, the plugin URL is that, the changelog is that. And if we check up for Astra for the details, we can now see the theme name, that Astra, the current version 1.87, the new theme version 2.01. This is actually the latest version of Astra, which is really nice. And then the details of the plugin and the author URL are all down here. So we can mark this as fixed, that is if we have updated the plugin, or we just don't want to update, so that we remove the notification from appearing in our notification area. But that is not a good way of doing things. However, also if this was a malware that was installed on your website, you can simply see the address where that URL is on your website files, and you can go access that file, and you can either delete it from the server. Actually, Wordfence will give you here an option of deleting that file, or actually navigating to where it is and investigate further, or actually send it over to your security team. So that is one of the most amazing functionalities of the scan feature in the Wordfence plugin that actually helped me a lot a couple of weeks ago. So now when we head straight to the other option of the tools, we can monitor on how our website is performing. But now, since this is a new website, we don't have enough data, we can now head over to the other website, and we can go straight to tools, and then we can now have all this data that has already been fetched in by Wordfence, and is showing us the kind of traffic this website is receiving. This is the beauty of the live traffic option in Wordfence. And here it basically tells you that Wordfence live traffic shows you what is happening on your website in real time, including user logins, hack attempts, and requests that were blocked by the Wordfence Firewall. You can choose to log security related traffic only, or all traffic. Traffic is logged directly on the server, which means that it includes visits that don't execute JavaScript. So this needs a little bit of knowledge on JavaScript and know what they actually here are meaning. But here they say Google and other JavaScript based analytics packages typically only show visits from browsers that are operated by a human, while live traffic can show visits from crawlers like Google and Bing. So down here they say live traffic options, traffic mode logging. Here we can say, all traffic, or we can select the option of security only. Don't log signed in users with publishing access. I mean, here you are basically telling Wordfence to not kind of monitor people who are already logged in and they have publishing access, and to not bring up their logs right down here as also traffic. And then here, list separated usernames to ignore from the log, list of separated IP addresses to ignore from the log still, browser user agent to ignore, amount of live traffic data to store, and all that stuff, maximum days to keep live data traffic. So actually here on the maximum days to keep live traffic data, we can say either a week, like 7 days, or we can say any number of days that you're comfortable with, but I think for me 7 days is enough. And then here we can display live traffic menu option. We don't need that, but we can enable it here so that this live traffic menu option will appear, and then we are able to spot how our website is performing. And then down here we have the traffic logging mode, the security related traffic only, as we had chose right up here. So it gives us all these traffic hits that are being collected up by this amazing tool. And we can also show advanced filters. We can say we want traffic that was showing up on our website from this day to the other day. And then we can also clear, we can group the traffic by the type, the host name, the HTTP response, the firewall response, the IP, the URL. We can filter still here all the kind of traffic that was coming through, the Google bot, the user ID, the HTTP response code, all that stuff. But for me, what I find really interesting is, for example, these are the two files. So this is actually a bot, and this is a human being. So this bot is using this IP address, using this host name, and the browser of course is not identified, but it was trying to access a page called reviews, and it is page 2. So probably this is a bot that is trying to keep up to see what is happening on my website. Maybe it's basically crawling, I don't know, whatever it's doing, I have no idea. And on the other hand, this is a human being based in Cape Town. Probably they were visiting this blog, and then on this date, this is the time, the hours, and then the IP address they were trying to use to access this website, and the browser they were using, and also the device they're using to access this website. The other interesting thing is that we can run a WhoIs research, data research here, basically to learn about this user and how they're accessing internet and their physical location and all that stuff. So when we read through all these details, we see the server, the WhoIs server, we see the net name, and then the description. I think this is the city where they're coming from, and then the country, and then here they are showing us the status codes, the email addresses, and still down here they are giving us more other details, including the phone numbers of probably the internet service provider or even the user. I'm not so sure about that. We have the ability to block this IP address. We can block this network so that this person will never have access to our website. But remember, if someone is using not a dedicated internet address, then when you block a network, it means you're going to block a series of people who are visiting the internet using that IP address, and that means it's a big chunk of people who are using that IP addresses to access a specific internet service provider's service. So I wouldn't advise that, but still it depends on what you want to do. So there are a lot more other things you can look up down here in the live traffic monitor from Wordfence, which I find really interesting. And I also see already someone coming also from Kampala, which is my city and where I come from, and you can still read more other information that is provided by WhoIs, and it is brought together into this live dashboard monitor by Wordfence. So we are done with that. I don't need to make any changes because this is actually on my live website. So once we go over to the WhoIsLookUp, this WhoIsLookUp was giving us an idea of where a specific IP address is coming from, and how they're accessing our website, and probably we can try to spot whether it's actually a spammy IP address or it's a bot that is trying to access our website. And the other option is to import and export options. This gives you the ability to export Wordfence options. I mean, these are the settings. If you have like 10 other websites that you're running and you want to use the same setup that you already set up in Wordfence, you can simply export here. And once you export right here, you get this code. Copy that code, and when you log into the other new website, for example, when I go over here and then come to import on the other website. Remember, I just got the code from this other website. Then when I come over to this other website, I just come to the import option. I paste the code right there. Boom. I copied. What did I copy? Export options. Copy. Come right here to import. Paste the code, and boom, import Wordfence options. So we successfully imported the site options. I can just reload, and yeah, so now we have all the other settings from my other website to this other website that is also having Wordfence installed. So the other option is actually diagnosis, which we won't actually go into details, but it's something you should know about. For example, you can see the Wordfence status, Wordfence version is that, geo IP version is that. You're basically seeing all the details that are connected to your WordPress website, Wordfence, and your server. So, so this is something you can just come through, read through, and see what actually is happening in the back end of your website. How Wordfence is understanding how your website is operating, and your server details, and Wordfence settings and details, all that stuff. So Once now we are done with the tools option, let's head straight to the login security. The login security. Now this is another amazing tool that actually Wordfence added free version of Wordfence, because we have the ability to set up the two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication, or 2FAs, significantly improves login security for your website. Wordfence 2FA works with a number of TOTP based apps like Google Authenticator, free OTP. You can basically use a scan app on your phone and then scan it up so that whenever you're going to log into your website, then you can simply authenticate your login page, so that whenever you try to log in, you can just use your phone and authenticate your login and have access to your website. On the other hand, the login security settings, for example, the role, you can say users 1. Then here it will show you the two-factor authentication activity. Yeah, if any of the website users here has set up the 2FA option, it will show up here. Here you can enable the two-factor authentication option for the roles. Here you can say the administrator. Wordfence is making the administrator by default once you set up the 2FA, because they think if administrator has more website authority, so they have access to a number of things. So once you set it up by default, it will be activated for the administrator, which is actually a good option. But still, you can set it up for all the other users of your website, and yeah, the more secure the better. So here they say require a 2FA for all administrators, and here you can set it up and you are good to go. And this other option says allow remembering devices for 30 days, so that it doesn't have to pop up every other time. I mean, the option for the two-factor authentication. And then down here you can disable XML RCP authentication. I even don't know what this really means. And then here you can whitelist IPs that should bypass the 2FA. So for example, if I'm an administrator and I set up the TFA, but I'm going to use a different computer for a period of time, or I just want someone who is administering my website, and maybe they are based in another country, but I want them to be always accessing my website, so I can just enter in here their IP addresses, and they don't have to always see this captcha code or authenticate, or to have to use the authentication option to have login access. So here I can now set up also the Recaptcha on login and user registration pages. So this is actually an option that is also provided by Google. You can just link up here, create the Recaptcha on Google, and put in here the site key and then the secret, and boom, you are good to go. That will look something like this. Let me just show you. So when I go down straight here to the contact page, so like on my contact page, I have this Recaptcha code, which is still provided by Google, and whoever is going to send me a message right here, they have to actually check the Recaptcha code, and then they send that message. That way, stopping a lot of spammy inboxing emails that are always going to be coming in, or they're sent in by robots or bots or whatever. Then here we have the option actually to run a Recaptcha in a test mode. Also, we have the option to delete login security tables and data on deactivation. So these are things that, unless you're really so much concerned about the security of your website and you want so much advanced features, you can still use them right here in the free version of Wordfence. So now it looks like we are done with the option for the login security. Now let's head over straight to all the options of Wordfence. So basically the all options here, it's basically giving us a list of whatever we can set up with Wordfence in just one window. For example, the Wordfence license key, which is a free license key, and then here it's giving us the free view customization. We can display blocking menu item, we can display live traffic on the menu item. This will appear at our menu once we have them checked here. And then we have the general Wordfence options, like this is the email address where all alerts are going to be going. For example, if someone logs into my website, or if I log into my website, or if the website goes down and all that stuff. And here there's something to hide WordPress version. So this is a good security feature. Disable code execution for uploads directory, and then pause live updates when window loses focus. And then here you can say bypass light speed, no about check, delete Wordfence tables and data on deactivation. Okay, I think this is actually a feature we can enable even for my live website. And then here it says dashboard notification option. Here it will show updates needed, and then it will also show the scan and all that stuff. And then here the email alerts. No. Email me if Wordfence is deactivated. Yes. Email me if the Wordfence web application firewall is turned off. And then here you can say alert me when an IP address is blocked. I tell you, if you enable this, you'll end up having a ton of emails. There are a ton of blocked IPs every other day by Wordfence. And then alert me when someone is locked out from login. Alert me when someone is blocked from logging in for using a password found in a breach. Allow me when a lost password form is used for a valid user. Alert me when someone with administrator access signs in, or only alert me when that administrator signs in from a new device or new location. Then here you can also alert me when a non-admin user signs in. So all those are really options that are provided by Wordfence. Activity report, email me an email summary once a week. And then here we can also say enable activity report widget on the WordPress dashboard. Okay, that is enabled. And then the firewall options, we can set up the basic firewall options. Then we also have the advanced firewall options, which we went through already, and the brute force protection, which we also went through already. And here they basically give you all the options in a nutshell. Then the whitelisted URLs, we went through all these options, and scan options, the tools options, and all that stuff, guys. So the very last one is a help, but before going to the help, it is asking us for updating. So we can still update because we made a few changes which I actually also agree upon, and I wanted also for my website. So when I go down here to the help option, basically they are giving you whatever can help you in setting up your Wordfence and following the right way to do everything. So which I also advise that you guys can come over here to the tools option and read through a couple of things that I've actually not covered, but you would find interesting. The last one is in case you want to go premium, what do you do and how can you go about that? You basically just click over here on upgrade to premium, and then you come right on pricing, and this is what they are offering for the pricing. One license here they give you no discount, it's $99, and if you are 15 plus users, if you have 15 plus licenses, then you get about 25% for 74.25 cents per license. So that is something I won't go in, but you get an idea when you come over here to the purchase page. However, with the free version of Wordfence, the one I just showed you, you can basically be in position to secure your website without spending a penny, and you are ready to go. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that now you are in position to install, activate, and configure Wordfence Security Plugin by Defiant Inc. And you can get your website secured, and hey, you stay alert and be ready to face any kind of malicious attempts, attacks, malware being installed on your website, and you can actually fight them before they reach you, or safeguard your website before the attacks actually reach you. So guys, thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope it brought you a ton of value. In case you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you don't miss out on new other videos I'm going to be bringing out. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.